And as we go through the tip of the week, here's something that I find is something that holds back a lot of real estate investors. And I have my tip of the week schedule in here so you can see many of the prior tips, but today's tip is something called perfection is the enemy. Perfection is the enemy of production. So I'm curious, and I know that we have a fair amount of engineers in the room. Who are my engineers in the room? Who are my left-brainers in the room? Who are my analytical people? Who are my accountant people? Just two of you. Really. Who are my right-brainers in the room? Who are my people who are going to like take action, run out of here, and just do something tonight? Okay, a couple of you guys. Who are my no-brainers in the room? Because is it like, are you know, like, I don't, okay, we're not on Zoom. So for you guys who are in person with me, let's have some fun. Is that okay if we play a little Full Out while we're here together? Is it okay if we kind of, and what by Full Out, Tony, thank you for providing that example of playing Full Out. So, and I hope everyone is okay back there. But I want to make sure you guys are having some fun with me, because I do this because I enjoy being of service in this community. It's something that's important to me. But I also do it because I enjoy doing it. I have fun doing it. But if you guys are not going to have fun with me, it's going to be a really long meeting. So can I ask for a little bit of y'all's engagement as we, okay, wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate that. So let's talk a little bit about perfection. So how many of you guys, let me ask maybe the question a different way. How many of you guys feel like I have to know everything before I do anything? Maybe that's the better question to ask. Okay. So you guys are more my left brainers, right? You guys are more my left brainers. How many of you guys feel like I don't want to make that first move until my business is completely ready, until I've completely set up my business? Like I have my LLC, I've got my company name, I've got my website, I've got all those things. Okay, a couple of you guys. So I will tell you, just take a deep breath for my left brainers. And I am a left brainer myself. So I did my undergrad at UT and I did my MBA at Rice. So I'm very left brain. I'm very left brain, probably left of many of you guys as well. And I'll tell you that when I first started in my business, what I found as well was I wanted to have I wanted to be set up properly from the beginning. But for those of you who have been investing in real estate for a while, and what I will tell you is, all of my plans about how my perfect business was going to play out, did it actually play out like that? The answer is no. So I spent a lot of time and I really spun my wheels really hard creating that perfect business that didn't make any money. I made the perfect business that did not make any money. Why is that? Because I was busy building, creating my LLC. I was really busy creating my company names. I was busy building my entire plan. What else was I doing? Websites, there was a lot of investigating going on, right? Of what kind of marketing and what kind of lists and who do I need to go to for this? And what if I have this question? And how many of you guys feel like you're kind of caught up in this hypothetical world, right? You can get really caught up in there. And it's so interesting because I'll have new investors who will come up to me all the time and they'll say, well, what if this happens? Or what if that happens? Or what if, it's like, well, do you actually have a lead that you're talking to where this is a scenario? Well, no, but what if, right? Don't do that to yourself, because you will what if yourself. You will not get on the field, and we all need to get on the field to be able to even try out some of these things. So I'll tell you, perfection is the enemy of production. I don't know if you guys have read Seth Godin. He's a very prolific writer. He's written probably between 50 and 70 books. And he has a book that I read probably about 15 years ago called Poke the Box. And in that book, he talked a lot about perfection being the enemy of production. And I read it again recently, and I was able as a left brainer to let that go and to really kind of be more in flow in my business and be able to react to what's going on in my business. And I'm not saying not be prepared, but I am saying just to meet the market where the market is, as opposed to trying to create a market that maybe does not exist or that only exists in your mind. And for my left brainers, you get in this track, and I say this because I've done it myself as a left brainer, where you get in this learning loop, right? You get in this learning loop. The problem is when you get on this learning loop, it's kind of like 6'10". You just keep on going around. How many of you guys have been interested in real estate investing for more than a year? How many of you guys have been, keep your hands up, more than 3 years? Yeah, more than 5 years. You guys are my left brainers, right? You're the ones who have to know everything before you do anything. This gentleman still has his hands up. He's waiting for me to say 10 years, right? So I don't want that to happen to any of you guys. I want you to get out there. I want you to take some action. And what's wonderful about real estate is you can make a fair amount of mistakes and still be okay, especially if you're using our TREC contract, which is an option contract, which means you have the option to do what? Back out, right? Or you don't have to say terminate, right? For any reason during your option. So I want you guys to feel a little comfortable about that too. But I think probably one of the something I read recently was the book Effortless by Greg, and that should be a G there, Greg McKeown. And he was quoting Reid Hoffman of PayPal, of LinkedIn. And he said, Reid Hoffman said this, he said, if you are not embarrassed by your first product release, then you released it too late. When it comes to product launches, imperfect is perfect. How many of you guys need to just hear that in your life in general, right? Yeah, imperfect is perfect. If you're not embarrassed, then you release too late. I don't want any of you guys to get in that learning loop. I don't want any of you guys to feel like you have to know everything before you do anything, because the truth is, when it comes to real estate, is there ever a way for any of us to know everything? No. Even, I mean, and if you're, so I've been investing for almost 2 decades. I still learn new stuff every single day. Why is that? Because the market is changing all the time, because contracts are changing, because laws are changing. Thankfully for us in Texas, how often does our Texas legislature get together to screw things up? No, every other year. Right? Why don't we model the federal government after Texas? After all, our capital is 4 inches higher than theirs. Anyway, there's no like hardcore Texans in here, really? No one's going to say like, yeah, yes. So I want you guys to realize that you're never going to know everything. It's impossible. And what I will tell you is that real estate is not, like many things are a mile deep. Real estate investing is a mile wide. What does that mean? What does that mean when I say that? It means what you learned on deal number 1, you may not experience again until deal number 121, right? So get out there, take some action. And then I will say for my left brainers, nothing inspires like a deadline. What does a deadline look like to one of my left brainers when it comes to real estate investing? What does that deadline look like? Say again? Get it done? What does a deadline look like? That looks like, I did what that lady Shanoa said, and I sent out some letters, or I did some cold calling, or I did some email marketing, or I did some bandit signs, right? Or I knocked on some doors. And what happened? Someone called me, someone answered the door, right? Someone emailed me back, someone texted me back. Oh, can you left brainers feel the heat? Are you left brainers sweating? Right? That's when you're like, oh, now I'm going to really dig in. And now I'm going to focus on what? What am I going to focus on now as a left brainer? I'm going to focus on things that matter. So as a left brainer, and who here has done this too, like right before the final exam, I'm going to rewrite all of my notes. Anybody said that? You're a true left brainer. You're a true left brainer. Anybody else? Yeah, no, even you're like, no, I'm out. You passed me, okay? But does that kind of stop you, right? Does this stop you? Is it in your way? So your big left brain will stop you from doing really stupid stuff that your right brain friends will do. You know what I'm talking about, right? But your big left brain will also stop you from doing anything. Is that true? So it's kind of needs to be this push between that right brainer who's willing to take some action and the left brainer who wants to be a little bit more cautious about it. So when it comes to investing, again, you can make a lot of mistakes. Luckily, you have that contract. So if you fill something out wrong, or if you decide, wow, I got my values from Yeah, when you realize I got my values from Zillow and Zillow was wrong, as evidenced by the fact that they are losing $30,000 on every deal that they do, right? Or when you wake up and you realize, oh, wow, my repair estimate was well below what I thought it was going to be, then you can just terminate the contract. It's going to be okay. And then if you realize I screwed up and I didn't get all the right signatures on the contract, or I didn't fill something out right, what can you then do? You can do an amendment to the contract, right? You can cross stuff out and it's going to be okay. And typically for us as real estate investors, what is our risk? How much are we risking when we put a property under contract? We're risking an option fee. How much is that option fee? Someone said 200 or 100. Anybody else have another idea about what that option fee might be? So when we're buying from an owner and there is no, my realtor left the room, and there's no realtor involved, right? What does that owner know about what an option fee should be? They don't. They don't. So that's a little cognitive bias there, right? What cognitive bias is that? We assume that I assume my knowledge is universal knowledge. So I assume my seller knows everything that I know. Is that true? No. So typically when you're buying from a motivated seller, you're putting down $10 for option fee, right? Typically when you're buying from a motivated seller, how much are you putting down for earnest money? $10, right? Now, if you're reselling it on the MLS and you're listing with the realtor is going to say, oh, no, your option fee needs to be somewhere between $100 and $500. Oh, no. The earnest money needs to be somewhere around 1% of the sales price, right? But does the seller that you're dealing with when you're buying an off-market deal, do they know any of that? No, that knowledge is not universal. So how much are you risking, even if for my left brainers, are you risking a lot when you make a mistake? The answer is no, not really, right? Just move on to the next one. Yeah, you lost $20, but you gained a lot of knowledge, you gained a lot of experience. So don't be perfect. Right? Don't be perfect. Get out there. Stop the learning. We're going to give you some different ways to be able to feel more confident as we go through the presentation today. We're going to give you strategies for those of you who don't have money to be able to invest without money. For those of you guys who don't have credit to be able to invest without credit. Now, we are not the, I mentioned earlier, we're not the get rich quick people. We're typically also not the, no money here, make $1 million with it, right? Usually when it comes to real estate, in order to make really big money, you've got to be investing a lot of your own money. But when it comes to wholesaling and some of the other strategies, like mortgage assignment that we'll talk about over the course of this meeting, yeah, you can make, $5, $10, $20,000 over, each deal if you're just using some of these basic strategies, but you're not going to hit it to, has anybody read the book, The Millionaire Wholesaler? Yeah, it's because it's not been written. Yeah. So you guys, I knew what you guys were going to answer because you guys haven't raised a hand all night. So I already knew none of you guys were going to raise your hand, even if there were a book like that you read, right? But the truth is that it's almost impossible to become a millionaire just wholesaling real estate. There are so many other strategies that even if you're starting out at wholesaling that you'll ultimately graduate into, right, as you get that level of confidence. And we're going to share a lot of things to give you that confidence tonight. So was that helpful in terms, especially for my left brainers, to kind of give you that little push, to kind of push you out of the nest? And we'll continue to do that as we go through the presentation as well. Now, my right brainers are sometimes get a little too aggressive when it comes to this, right? So I will say for my right brainers, stay here. We're going to give you a lot of knowledge. I literally, and we teach a 3-day class as part of Texas REIAs. Literally, I've had right brainers like listen for day one and leave the meeting after day one and like, I just can't stand here anymore. I gotta go. I gotta go do something. I gotta do some investing. It's like, but wait, don't you want to know like exactly what to say to get it under contract? Don't you want to know exactly what to say to overcome objections? So for my right brainers, take this also with a grain of salt. For my left brainers, take this as a kick in the pants, right? So a little bit of mix there. And one of the things that we love to do as part of Texas REIAs is we love to go through and talk about the market.